Hey there, my fellow anglers and friends. Welcome back to the channel, your go-to spot for the hottest fishing tips and forecasts. Today, we're diving deep into what promises to be an extraordinary day on the water. January 26th, 2026, right here in beautiful New Zealand. I've crunched the numbers, checked the charts, and talked to my local contacts. And let me tell you, this day is shaping up to be truly special. Why, you ask? Well, stick around because I'm going to spill all the beans on how the weather, the water, and even the moon are aligning to create some fantastic fishing opportunities. Get ready for some serious action because we're talking about a mid-summer sweet spot where the fish are hungry and the conditions are just right. Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about some of our favorite local heroes. We've got 4 main contenders for your line today, each with their own unique charm and challenges. Rainbow and brown trout, freshwater warriors. For you freshwater fanatics, the rainbow and brown trout are going to be absolutely buzzing. It's prime summer, so these beautiful fish are in full feeding mode, actively looking for a meal. You'll want to target the classic spots, clear, flowing rivers and pristine lakes, especially those backcountry streams. Look for them in areas with good cover like submerged logs, undercut banks, and around the edges of weed beds where they can ambush bait fish and insects. As the water temperatures are warm, they might be a bit deeper during the brightest parts of the day, but early mornings and late afternoons will see them venturing into shallower, oxygenated riffles. When it comes to tackle for rivers, a light spin rod with small, natural-coloured soft plastics or classic trout spinners like a Toby or a Mepps will do wonders. For fly anglers, think dry flies mimicking terrestrial insects in the morning and evening, switching to nymphs and small streamers during the day, especially near drop-offs. A 5 or 6 weight fly rod is perfect. On lakes, trolling with a small spoon or soft plastic can be deadly, or casting into structure with small jerkbaits. Snapper, the coastal kingpins. Moving to the saltwater scene, the mighty snapper will be a top target. January, as you know, is midsummer, and from mid-January to mid-April, these fish shift their focus from spawning to serious feeding, particularly in the shallow coastal reefs and harbours of the North Island. Think places like the Hauraki Gulf, the Bay of Plenty, and the Coromandel Peninsula. Look for them around rocky headlands, in sandy patches adjacent to reef systems, and even right inside the harbours where strong tidal flows create food-rich environments. They love shellfish and crustaceans, so anywhere these are abundant is a good bet. For tactics, stray lining with unweighted or lightly weighted pilchards or squid is incredibly effective as it lets your bait drift naturally down a burley trail. A 2-hook rig with 6/0 or 7/0 J-hooks is ideal. Soft baits, especially scented ones in natural colours, fished slowly around structure can also produce fantastic results. If you're on a boat, burley is your best friend to draw them in. Kahawai, the fighting machine. Oh, the Kahawai! These energetic fighters are everywhere in New Zealand, from estuaries to the outer islands, and January sees them in full attack mode. They often form large surface schools, making them incredibly exciting to target. Look for diving birds. That's your telltale sign of Kahawai busting up baitfish schools. You'll find them in coastal areas, estuaries, and around river mouths, especially where there's good tidal movement. Light tackle is the name of the game here. Spinning rods with metal lures like small slugs or Kahawai candy are incredibly effective. Cast them out, let them sink a bit and retrieve quickly. Fly anglers will have a blast with white or chartreuse baitfish patterns. Remember, they are suckers for a good burly trail too, so don't be shy with the chopped up pilchards. Yellowtail, kingfish, the ultimate brawler. If you're looking for a real challenge and an adrenaline rush, the yellowtail kingfish are going to be active and hungry. New Zealand is famous for its monster kingfish, and summer is prime time to chase them, especially in the top half of the North Island. Search for them around offshore reefs, deep water pinnacles, and rocky headlands that are exposed to strong tidal currents. Harbour markers and channel edges can also hold smaller but still powerful kingies. Live baiting with mackerel, jack mackerel, or Kahawai is arguably the most effective method for big kingfish. Rig them on a heavy-duty single hook or a snelled twin-hook rig. Jigging with heavy metal jigs, 200 to 300 grams, is another proven technique. Drop them to the bottom and retrieve with a fast, erratic retrieve. Topwater lures like poppers and stick baits can also elicit explosive strikes, especially early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Now let's talk about the science behind today's bite. Weather report for January 26th, 2026 friends. We're looking at a classic New Zealand summer day. Expect warm and pleasant conditions across the country. In the North Island, daytime temperatures will likely hover around 20 to 30 degrees Celsius or 68 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, with the northern regions a bit warmer. The South Island will see temperatures between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius or 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. We anticipate generally settled atmospheric pressure, which is always good for consistent feeding behavior. Wind will likely be light to moderate, perhaps a gentle sea breeze developing in the afternoon. Rainfall should be minimal, keeping the rivers clear and the inshore waters inviting. These stable, warm conditions usually mean active fish that are comfortable and willing to feed. Remember though, New Zealand weather can be famously changeable, so always keep an eye on local conditions. And seriously, put on some strong sunscreen. The UV here is no joke in summer. Water temperature trends. With it being midsummer, water temperatures will be comfortably warm. In our northern coastal bays, you can expect sea temperatures to be in the range of 20 to 23 degrees Celsius, or 68 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Central coasts might be a touch cooler, around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, or 64 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, while the exposed southern areas will be cooler still, but still very fishable. Freshwater rivers and lakes will also be at their summer highs, reflecting the warm air temperatures. This warmth signals peak metabolism for most fish species, encouraging them to feed aggressively. Lunar lowdown, first quarter moon. On January 26, 2026, the moon will be in its first quarter phase, with about 54 to 57% of its face illuminated and growing. This is generally considered a favorable time for fishing. Many anglers believe that as the moon waxes towards the full moon, fish activity increases. The strong gravitational pull associated with a quarter moon can often lead to more pronounced tidal movements, which, my friends, means more current and more feeding opportunities, especially in saltwater. So don't let this phase deter you. Instead, see it as an opportunity for focused activity, particularly around the high and low tide changes. Overall, fish activity. Considering all these factors, the warm, stable weather, the inviting water temperatures, and the stimulating first quarter moon, January 26th, 2026, points towards a good to excellent day for fishing in New Zealand. This is midsummer, the absolute peak fishing season, promoting high activity levels across both freshwater and saltwater species. The overall conditions of stable pressure, warm waters and abundant food sources suggest strong feeding periods throughout the day, especially during the golden hours of dawn and dusk. Brown and rainbow trout will be actively looking for insects and baitfish, while saltwater species like snapper, Kahawai, and kingfish will be on the hunt for bait schools in coastal areas. My clear assessment for the bite on January 26th is excellent. This is because we have warm, settled summer conditions with ample daylight and water temperatures that stimulate high metabolic rates in fish. The first quarter moon adds another positive influence, suggesting active feeding windows. Get out there, friends, and make the most of it. All right, my angling family, that's the forecast for January 26th, 2026. I really hope this helps you plan an epic trip. Remember, fishing is about connecting with nature, making memories, and sometimes landing that dream fish. So pack your gear, stay safe out there, and I wish you all tight lines. Or as we say here, ni hato ni cheshuyi, may you have neither hook nor scale. If you found this forecast helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And tell me in the comments below, what are your go-to lures for summer fishing in New Zealand? What's the biggest fish you've ever caught in January? I love hearing your stories and tips. Until next time, happy fishing, everyone.